Far away from the main tourist district stands a group of buildings in East Vancouver that houses a collective of artisan designer studios. While these buildings aren't open for the public, you can make an appointment to visit. And today we get to check out the studio of Lincoln Heller, owner and designer of Fiveleft Leather. Yes, I'm an avid fan and follower thanks to my high-quality bag addiction. And the city of Vancouver is a fan too, as they commissioned Lincoln to create the guitar straps that Canadian music legend Neil Young used during the 2010 closing ceremonies of the Olympics. Known Lincoln Heller of Fiveleft Leather Goods since, how long has it been? It's been a while.
Business is 10 years old and you started coming around probably 8 years ago, I'd say.
8 years ago at Portobello Market. It used to be, well, it still exists. It's a market that's at a community center maybe a couple of times in the summer or spring.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I do some of the craft fairs, but we sell locally,
Yes.
do a little bit of wholesale in some stores and stuff. So the business was born in the craft fairs, but it's moving kind of away from there because I don't know.
He's progressing.
I'm tired of standing around in shows.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of work to set up for trade shows, and he's progressed since then. Definitely a lot of online business too. So you want to check him out. It's fiveleft.ca.
I fell in love with this material, this vegetable tan leather, 10 years ago, and that's kind of what started the business. It's a raw vegetable tan leather. It's what they make horse saddles out of. Instead of doing the traditional Western tooling, what we do instead is what I fell in love with is it's like a blank canvas. I could texture it. I could pound some. What I started doing was pounding lots of found objects into it to create textures, to create these finishes, and then washing them in color to highlight those textures. I did that for 10 years, or we did that. I have people that help me, but I think there was something in, once the business turned 10 that there was definitely a need for some kind of new idea. So instead of creating these really heavily wrought textures and colors and these kind of blank, sort of going from a blank canvas to this heavily worked piece, I kind of fell in love with this idea of a kind of almost more of a Zen kind of moment. This time where there's a point where the undyed leather meets the dyed leather, and there's that kind of moment in time that's trapped there forever. So what I'll start to do is I'll lay up like this, and so for me, that moment right there is where all the fun is. So we'll
see where it leads you, where
I guess I guess technically I just fill this up and really get a lot of dye in there, and then you kind of get warmed up with each piece, and then one of the finishes I've been working on lately is where you'll actually we'll do this. Still turn them around. But I kind of like this moment where it's this, there's something Japanese called wabi-sabi, where there's this beauty in something that's not quite perfect, and accepting things for how they end up. And I think that this is, for me, this exploring this moment is fun for me.
It's a little bit therapeutic. No?
Yeah. And then what I've been doing now is we take the black, and then we'll give it the second layer. Because now that there's two colors interacting with each other,
Look at that. You could see the colors coming through from underneath.
Yeah, and when the black gets laid over the red, the red is still kind of, I could blacken it all the way out, but it's nice when it has this when it still has a presence underneath the black, so it's not just black. So
Yes,
you can see
multi-dimensional in that way.
yeah, and then in the end, it has this powerful moment, and so then when we wrap it into a bag, you know, it'll come out like this, and you can sort of, I've been running the stripes down the, been designing the bags so, and the wallets and stuff, so this tends to run down, and I'm working with a lot of symmetry. A lot of Fiveleft was asymmetrical for the last 10 years, and now I'm kind of playing with, you know, some symmetry here. So you can see these are the kind of colorways. This one's a bit different, obviously. Kind of,
I like that. It's a gradient type of technique.
I haven't really officially named it, but in the studio we call it heartburn.
Oh, nice.
Somehow it made
For the
sense.
tough days at the studio when nothing seems to be working. That's a good one.
Yeah. See this thing? I made that on,
I like it.
I made that on Friday.
Woo! Look at this.
There's this new material that I'm kind of,
Yeah.
after 10 years, I'm kind of starting to feel like I want to
Change.
yeah, just kind of grow and change, and so I kind of wanted to introduce a new material.
Yeah.
And
Like the soft leather.
I found this. It's Alberta bison, tanned in Vancouver.
Wow. It's so thick. What quality?
Well, there's two.
amazing
There's
quality.
two. There's 3 different weights of it.
Yeah.
They're actually my buddies who tan it, and this is the weight that I think I can work with. Because I design things in kind of like I think about things like paper.
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about like if you put a ruler down, cut it with a knife rather than scissors, and like I think about things more like wood or paper.
Yeah.
So this for me, this material is something that I can deal with, and this is my
It's
first.
pliable enough for you to cut it more efficiently.
No, it's just more. I don't know. Girls like soft things too. So.
Oh, that's true. It's very popular.
In the beginning, there's always been a fascination with bags, boxes. They're vessels that hold the objects in our life. So even a wallet, you know, guys are more wallet. The guys wear bags, but there's something about a wallet for men too. You know, these are all the little essential bits of your life that you need to navigate life. Bags the same. Bags hold more stuff, whether it's a cheap something you bought at a dollar store, or something tactical like art. You'd buy an outdoor store or something high end. I think that there's something pretty cool that's what really fascinates me. So other kinds of accessories we've made and designed and sold kind of as a necessity of business, but what I'm really interested in is those objects that hold all the bits of our life.
Now, how did you even start making leather goods? Where did you learn, and how did you begin?
I don't know, just because there's always been that fascination with the bag. As a kid, I was and my mom worked at a leather furniture store, and so there were all these swatches from whatever seasons, the old colors, and so she'd bring home all these swatches of leather, boxes of them, and at that point, I was just kind of stitching them together with dental floss and a needle and kind of putting them all together.
But you've been exposed to it basically all your life in some sense.
Kind of. Mom had us sewing clothes. Not all of our clothes, but during the summer, she'd have us sit down and we'd make 2 or 3 pairs of shorts, for ourselves, and so I think fabric was never something that was very fun for me. The fact that it kind of moves, like this.
It's very slippery.
Yeah, that's my brain does not do well with this. I have friends that are clothing designers; they love that. For me, this doesn't do that. It stays still.
It's
just like paper.
Yeah,
Paper.
definitely.
So you can fold it, you can cut it, and I think then they started to using old boots in that logging camp. I was in a logging camp to pay my way through art school, and so when they throw away their boots, I'd pick them up and chop them off in that heavy leather that you could kind of wrap into some kind of cylinder or tube. That's where the forms kind of began.
Do you find now at the moment that there's a movement towards people gravitating towards independent artists, independent creators and designers?
I think so. I think the craft movement for me has even changed after doing it for 10 years and because this business again was born in craft fairs. I think this was before a lot of the that that artisan, that romantic notion. I think there's always been as everybody perceives it today on your social media and stuff. I think it was a bit different than a craft 15, 20 years ago looked different than, I think it was more of a kind of an art craft rather than an everyday craft, or art craft that was more kind of an object that you an object that you sort of put on display. I think now artisan means a lot of times something that you're going to use every day. Your artisan wallets, your whatever, these a little bit more functional objects. I think definitely the economy of today, people are looking for something maybe to invest in that is going to be an everyday object, rather than just something that's going to sit on your mantelpiece. So I know some of my friends that have been doing art and craft for 30 years. I think the big ticket items have slowed. These huge, beautiful ceramic pieces, or these big object art kind of things that you would put on display, whereas people that are creating things, this functional art, I guess,
Yes.
I think are becoming more. And then also with the idea of slow fashion, and where does your clothes come from? Do you know who makes what you wear? I think that has fueled a lot of it as well.
Yeah, I find that there's definitely been a movement towards that, the makers movement, the creators movement, and I'm hoping that just means more for you in the process. And in this whole building, there's actually tons and tons of studios, which creates a wonderful community for everyone here. Now, do you have an event that people, the public, can come by and see everyone's work? Or is there, I think there's something called
the Eastside Cultural Crawl happens in November, for those that are around Vancouver. It's one of my favorite events of the year in Vancouver, period. It's usually right before the Remembrance Day weekend, so kind of pre-November 11th. And it's an amazing event where this building, as well as all the other buildings that are full of people like me, is anything under the sun. If people are making it, you can find it, and it's amazing and overwhelming to some degree.
Well, it's definitely an experience that everyone would want to have. If you have a chance, please come out. It is in November. We can check it out online. I'll post the details later. And for Lincoln, you'll find them at fiveleft.ca.
You can also visit them on Instagram at Fiveleft Leather. Also check out culturecrawl.ca. Thank you all so much for your support and for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already.